Whoa.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. I set my coffee down.
What did you do?
Spilled my coffee on my notes. That happened. Oh, boy.
It's not going at it.
2 seconds. Greetings, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Dreamscapes. Today we are, again, privileged to have another content creator, a duo this time, mother and daughter team, Leah and Sandy, left to right there. And they are the non-expert dream experts who do a dream interpretation podcast you can find on iTunes and Spotify. And we've got our friend Leah going to share her dream with us, and then we're going to talk about it. So I'll throw it over to you. Whenever you're ready, you can start, and we'll do the thing.
All right.
Great.
Yeah. Hi.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Glad to be with you. Oh,
Thanks for letting us join you.
I'll start, Leah.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. This is going to be very energetic.
Yeah, for sure. And Leah, what do you want to introduce yourself now?
Yeah, I'm Leah,
the daughter. Leah's going to share the dream, as Ben mentioned, and you want to take it away, Leah, or anything you have to say before we get into it?
No, I think that's all.
Okay. Give us the date and let Ben do his thing.
Okay, so I had this dream back in May. So that was around the time that I graduated college.
As I mentioned to Leah before, most of us use numbers. The fifth month. Oh, no, you use numbers. And yes, the fifth month is how you really said that 2020, which is May.
Yes.
May 2020. The dates are always important to us. Go on.
So basically, this dream starts out where I'm in this weird looking house somewhere, and there's a competition going on, or kind of like a giant game of tag. And so basically you just want to be the last one in the game or the last one standing. And to get other people out of the game, you have to take a little pasta shell with red sauce on it and put it against someone's forehead. And for some reason that signifies that they're just out of the game, like they lost. And
is this pasta you can eat afterwards or during the game, or it's strictly to tag the person out?
If you get hungry, like if you need to refuel, it's possible.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Leah. We'll do the interpretations, by the way. You just answer with a yes or no.
Okay. Sounds good.
Go on.
So basically when that happens, the person is out. And I was doing very well in this game. I got my younger sister and a few other people out of the game. So it was only me and like maybe 3 other people left. And 2 out of the 3 were brother and sister. And they had basically just hidden the whole game so that basically no one could get them out, which was very annoying. But I was kind of tired of playing at this point, and all my friends were out, so it wasn't really fun anymore. But basically, I was on the second level of this house. And the second level is kind of open, like it's like an open balcony,
which is still part of the game. The second level is still part of the game. So it's the weird house. Mm-hmm. You're on the second level, a terrace maybe, or just
it's like there's no like middle part of the second floor. It's like very open.
Okay,
which is kind of strange. Okay. Also on the second level, there's a short slide or laundry chute type of thing, so it doesn't go down all the way to the first floor. But since it's a laundry chute, it like leads to the first floor, which is kind of strange. But
why is it strange? Because it doesn't take you all the way to the first floor, or there's a laundry chute
in the middle of this game? Yeah, like if you just both things are strange. How the house is set up and that there's a laundry chute right there.
Okay, but it's sort of designed like a kid's game, or like a like an outside slide, and you know how some of them have the slide looks like a closed chute.
Yeah,
it could be like that, which is still a game. Right.
Yeah, but it doesn't lead all the way down to the bottom floor.
But it's not taking you there. Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm still feeling the game vibe, the kid vibe.
Yeah.
Of the chute. Go on.
But basically, you weren't supposed to go down this chute, or it would like really hurt unless you were super careful, because you have to like plan to not be on the floor by the time you're off the chute, if that makes sense.
No, but go on.
Okay. So I started inching down this laundry chute because I knew that the siblings were still underneath, and they didn't know that I was above them on this chute. But then the security guy, for some reason, there's a random security guy who's watching us play tag, I guess. He was, for some reason, on their side. And so this big guy comes over to me and he's inching down the slide. So I start inching back up so that, you know, he doesn't get me. And I just like don't really care if I lose the game anymore. But like, I don't want to lose this way with the security guy like grabbing me and, you know, getting me out of the game. So I like start inching back up, and the guard grabs my foot as I'm trying to escape, and he starts pulling me off the slide, the chute thing, which again is kind of far from the ground. So I had a moment of panic, knowing that if I like go down this, if he pulls me off all the way, it's going to be really bad and I'm going to hurt myself. But you know, he doesn't stop. He keeps pulling my foot. And eventually I just see my body leave the slide, and then I'm jolted awake with this horrible feeling.
So is this your nice way of saying
I died?
You died?
Yeah, in my dream. I died.
When you say you jolted awake, you mean you really, you were awake.
Like I was awake.
Right.
In real life.
In real life, you're awake. Then this all coincided after the security guy pulled your feet.
He pulled my feet. My body left the slide, and I then was awake in real life.
Okay. Did the security guard try to do anything? Did you hear a scream? Did you hear a noise? Did you hear yourself scream or yell yourself awake? Or?
No, I didn't scream. Okay. But like a second later, after I had woken up, I like closed my eyes again and I went back to sleep. And so I was still kind of in the dream, but it was semi-different. But basically now in the dream, I was on a golf cart with one of my friends, and he was telling me about the accident that I just had. He said that I was dead for, like I was pronounced dead for 3 minutes, and then somehow I came through. And I guess when the security guy pulled off my leg, I was like falling down, and he tried to grab my head with his hands before I hit the ground, but I guess that didn't really work out too well.
To soften the blow. So then he tried to save you after he realized
that like he was
about to kill you. Yeah. Then he tried to save you. Okay. And your friend was very specific about that 3 minutes. That's right, because he said you said in your dream he said 3 minutes you were dead. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I mean that was basically it. I was just everyone was really scared because I had died. So yeah.
Okay, and that's how it ended.
Basically, there was like a weird part after that where we were in a witch's house.
Who's we?
You, my sisters, and I. But that has nothing to do with the rest of the dream.
But it was still part of that second half of the dream,
it was still part of the second half, but it was just weird.
We were in a witch's house?
Yeah, like collecting our stuff.
How do we know? Or how do you know it was a witch's house?
You just know things.
How do you know this? Was there a black hat on top? Did she say boo-hoo? Or what do witches say? I don't even know what they say.
I don't know.
I'm a witch.
Why would they say that?
I don't know. You said it's a witch's house. Why would you say it's a witch's house? What indicates that?
It probably looked like a witch's house. If you were to search witch's house on Google.
Oh, there's no such thing. Okay, that's so made up. So we're in this witch's house, and what happens in her
house? Just like take our stuff back. I don't know. For some reason, we have a lot of our stuff there, and we're just like,
are you calling our home a witch's house? What?
Well, if the shoe fits.
I don't know. I think it's a pretty comfortable home we've made for you all. Ben, what do you think? You just popped up?
I don't know why you think I wake up like a maniac.
I don't know how it happens.
I just opened my eyes.
The wind, like she was blowing a spell on you. Which
she levitates out of the bed like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, what?
Here he goes.
At your foot.
Hi, son. Yes, a security guard woke you up, pulled you out of bed.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, that's so that deep dive always takes the longest. It goes deep and very specific. This is where I would usually ask people, getting into the third phase, what does it all mean? I would usually ask people for their impressions, new insights that might have occurred to them as we were going back through it. That gets a little complicated because you guys have already talked about it and you have maybe your own understandings. I don't know, Leah, if you can kind of separate out what you might have heard from someone else, from what your impressions were, and that might direct us to the most important places to start.
Yeah. So when I first read the dream and had the dream and everything, I just thought that it was really weird. I wasn't sure what to make of it. I thought that there were two parts that probably stood out the most, I guess. One would obviously be when I died, because I just knew that I died. I didn't feel any pain. Yeah. I had died. And then the second thing, I think, or something else that really stood out to me was that the security guy was white, and then all of a sudden I'm safe and with this black guy, this black boy, my friend. I don't know what that means, but I did that's something that drew my attention.
For sure. Yeah. And did you make any of your own connections at that time of what that might relate to in your real life? Or
no, actually I did not make any connections.
But afterwards, but you did make the one connection with the death, right? That you told me.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was
with the death
pretty on.
So basically, well, no, because I had looked up online what it means die in a dream, and I had seen that it could mean just a potential ending to something in your life. And I had this dream in May, which is around the time that I graduated college. So I thought that this was probably to signify the ending to college. For
sure. Yeah. And there is that's somewhere that I was going with it as well, because generally what are we dreaming about? It's what's going on in our life, what's stressing us out, what we're hopeful for. Our brains just never shut off. They're always problem solving, and sleep is when we tend to have that imaginary what if ability to manipulate an unreal space to put anything we want in it and try and say, okay, if this is the problem and that's what I do, what's that going to look like? And we can play out all those different scenarios. So that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
So I was going to say in relation to, and again, I'll start throwing out ideas, and if it doesn't resonate, just tell me. But the idea of college itself being a game you wanted to get over with, after 4 years, and more than that, because you've been going to school for another 12 years before that. It's elementary, high school, college. Is this game over yet? Can I just stop? And having it feel kind of I remember that 20 years ago. I remember that experience of just please God, let this end.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. I feel the first part of college was really fun. But then my senior year, I was okay, this is a lot. we can stop this now.
Yeah, it gets progressively more difficult, of course. But then also just that, the nature of running that marathon. You see that finish line, you're I just want to get there. I just want to stop running. Yeah. So how would that relate?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree with that.
How would that relate to, say, playing a game of tag and having to eliminate competitors? Were you already looking forward to what am I going to do for a living after that? How am I going to find a job with this degree?
Yeah, well, I didn't really know what I want to do after college. But yeah, I wasn't sure about that stuff.
Fair enough.
I think it also picked off.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it also picked off some of your friends or acquaintances as well. It was an opportunity to distance from those that, maybe were just acquaintances and not friends or lifelong relationships versus the ones that you like and have fun with and you're still friends with today.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good angle on it too, of winnowing out people that are less important to you. You did kind of go through that process?
Yeah, I think so. Just throughout college in general, just people can't come and go.
They do. Yeah. And then if you're living, say, in the dorms on campus, you're going to see some people every day. You graduate, you just never see them again. You don't live in the same hallway anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think about that in relation to tagging people out, do you get a feeling of significance, or is that kind of ancillary? Just kind of, that's also a thing.
I don't know. I probably, maybe, because I feel because of COVID, I came back to Colorado early. And so when I figured out we weren't having a graduation, I was oh, there are some people who I'm friends with, but not close enough to ever see them again or talk to them again. And that was kind of, that sucks. That actually does make sense.
Yeah.
Not necessarily trying to get them out of my life, but it just happened that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is kind of a process. You have to actively choose, who am I going to put effort into maintaining contact with? It might be something there.
Yeah.
Especially like the brother and sister hiding underneath, you're right. You had to actively go find them, just like some of your friends, like you said, you didn't get to say goodbye to, or
but I didn't like the brother and sister.
That's true.
In the dream or in real life, do you have a recollection of a brother sister pair you knew in real life that might represent the people in the dream?
No, I think they were just kind of random people, as far as I can remember.
Yeah. There's something in there too of your final nemesis, your final obstacle to defeating or winning the game is a family unit, two people that are close together, closer than say just two friends or family, brother and sister, and that they're working together to win, and that you have to be extra careful, crafty, not sneaky, but really think it through and put effort into strategizing a way to defeat them, only to have it interrupted by this security guard. Where I was going somewhere with that. So you've got that representation of the tight, not a pair bond, but family bonded opponents, and you've got, say, this representative, this authority figure who's cheating for them, taking sides, stepping out of his role of impartial judge or just there for safety, and like, I'm going to put my thumb on the scale of the game. When you think of it that way, those kind of two things happening together, does anything come to mind?
A
very vague question. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Was that around the time when we had those college scandals, those superstars who were getting their kids into college unfairly, who didn't belong there?
I think that was like a year earlier, but that would make sense.
Okay, because that was all over the news. It was plastered all over, going through COVID, not having your graduation yet. Here are these kids unfairly getting in because of their parents and their money and their status.
That was like a year earlier. So I mean, it could have been that, but
okay.
Yeah, but to any current events in your life back in May, any difficulties with, say, authority figures not treating you fairly, and then the opposition of this brother and sister team?
Oddly enough, I feel like I can't think of it. I don't think I've been like treated unfairly by anyone, or like that anyone's ever been like out to get me or anything.
Fair enough. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a specific person. And it could be a part of yourself. I mean, it could be a piece of you. I mean, as much as all these things are different pieces of you, that's what we're trying to put together is where do these things come from? So, I mean, that security guard could be a piece of you as well. That's maybe you feel you're treating yourself unfairly in some sense. You're not judging yourself neutrally as you should, or you would hope to. I don't know. I don't know if that, again, if these things don't resonate, just rattle it. I'll rattle a different doorknob.
Something to think about. I can't think of anything you've ever shared or told me or connected, but maybe it's just not coming to mind.
I know, it just might not be coming to mind, but I can't like think of anything for who they'd represent right now.
Or what.
Yeah, for sure. That's, and then, this idea of I think we've already been over it a little bit, just a little bit of the idea of the pasta shells, sticking it to people's forehead. It'd be to me that the first thing that does say is the kind of silliness of it, the silly nature of this game is like, it's not that serious. So you've actually got something that starts off fun and laughter and silly, and it goes to become more dangerous and serious, and then to end in your death in a way. So I think there's something there with that arc of the story, that it becomes more, what am I trying to say? Serious, but crucial. What words am I looking for? I don't know if any word comes to mind about how that evolution from this was all fun and games and now it becomes not.
Keeps escalating and getting just worse and worse.
Kind of escalates. Yeah, that seriousness of it. That's another word I'm looking for. It's not serious. It's more like how consequential. Like there's. Yeah, no, the word's not coming to me. That's okay. I got Swiss cheese holes in my brain sometimes. Words fall in. Yeah, and then that idea of this death. Yeah, there was that finality, but it wasn't just you got tagged out. It was died. It was actually, you were, and there's a sense of like you didn't cause this yourself in a way. You didn't trip. You didn't lose your footing. Mm-hmm. An external force acted on you to remove you from this slide, and it almost maybe felt like you fell through the slide, like this, whatever this slide is. What is a slide? I mean, could be a faster way to get from the top to the bottom. It's a direct route. You didn't go down around some stairs. You're taking a straighter line towards your goal, but in a way that's also strategic. Like I know they're hiding under there, so I'm going to get them first. There's something there. I don't know if anything comes to mind when you think of that.
Yeah. No. I know. I'm trying to think. So some way that I'm trying to get through life more strategically.
Could be.
Go on. Well, I was going to say, like, so my major is pretty weird, but I feel like it could have panned out very well if I actually did well in my major.
Are you okay to say what it is?
Yeah, so my major is modern languages. Basically, I was learning Mandarin, and I have been, like, learning Mandarin for years. So if I were able to, like, learn Mandarin fluently, then I could, like, get a job, like, translating things. Okay. And that would have been, like, a good life path. And strategic. But since I didn't learn Mandarin fully,
we pay for college, right? I just want to make sure that. Okay. All right. Okay. I just threw that in there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, baby. We love you.
I'm sure you'll make deal. My parents were worried for a while about how I was going to get by with my education, even psychology. It's just the jobs aren't as easy to come by sometimes. So I think it'll work out for you.
Oh, thank you.
But
we hope so, Dad.
Yes. But back at that time, you hadn't gone through graduation yet, or you hadn't received the diploma.
No,
so
it
was in May.
Yeah. It was either like later that week or next week that I was probably graduating,
which didn't take place.
Yeah.
So the
still we were kind of waiting.
The ceremony didn't take place, but you got the diploma and everything's was good on that end. Maybe, yeah. So sometimes what's going on in our head is looking forward to future circumstances, future fears or anticipations. So there could have been something in your mind looking forward to we'd say the game you wanted it to be over if it's related to college, and the idea that this graduation was coming, beyond which is, that's very much a kind of death. The end of this experience, this episode is over and you're moving on to the next one. So it's the death of a certain way of living, a lifestyle you had going for a while.
Yeah. And I had that kind of in my notes in wanting to end the game. Are we going to graduate? What's going on with COVID being here, getting in our way? Let's end this game. Let's just graduate. They keep postponing it, hoping that COVID would go away. So they postponed it to the next month and the next month, and nothing came out of it.
Okay. When you think of not learning your primary subject as well as you had wanted to, does it feel like external forces played a big factor in preventing that from being successful?
Somewhat. Like, I feel like obviously if I go to China, if I had gone to China for a year or 3 years or whatever, then I think I definitely would have learned it or could have picked it up or something.
Was that on the table?
It could be
until COVID. That was
college.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You wanted to go for that year. There was a program. So you had gone 2 times previously, but only for weeks or months or the entire summer. And then the next one you were going to go for maybe study abroad for a year.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about studying abroad for a year.
So that didn't take place.
Mm-hmm.
So brief side note, because I had a silly thought. How did it feel to be in a country where you were taller than everybody?
And also a different color, which makes a difference too. So you'll have to tell them about the experience, the photos.
That's true. It was very interesting. Also, I thought that I wanted to be taller. I wanted to be able to see over everyone's head. No, that didn't happen.
Oh.
They were taller I guess.
Maybe I've got a misunderstanding of how tall most Chinese people are. Fair enough.
I know. We've been lied to.
Right?
Yeah, I do remember you telling us when we would call and speak to you while you were there. So we're African American, and Leah would tell us how in the streets people would stop her just to take pictures of her because she's African American, and if they could take a picture with her, stop her for that.
Like a genuine oddity, like an alien from outer space. Like, hey, you look cool. Come here. I want to get a picture. You don't see this every day. Yeah.
Yeah,
that is pretty cool. That's kind of the flip side of it. I mean, we hear a lot in, say, pop culture and political circles of people being othered and as a negative thing, but there's a sense of being the other where you are exotic. And as long as we don't say fetishize that into someone's entire personality, it can be fantastic to be the odd one out and everyone loves it. They're like, oh, that's so cool. You stand out in a crowd, literally. So I'm glad it was a good experience for you.
I was thinking business and how do we make money off this? Let me send all my kids down there. And
for sure, you go to China and you might be in high demand to be, say, an English teacher and communicate both because of this. Sell your exotic nature, make it work for you. Yeah, that could be a something you could do anyway.
Yeah, true.
So that maybe I'm putting that kind of, so that was the tangent, back on what I was originally going to say, the idea of this authority figure pulling you off the slide that was taking you to victory in the game could be related to, say, closing the borders and travel to China, which this unfair authority figure ruins the game, cheats on the side of of making you lose. Because you didn't get the opportunity to go to China?
Yeah, no, not again. I mean, eventually, once the borders open up, I can go back sometime.
Yeah, when you think of that idea, does that kind of resonate with you? That that
actually does make a lot of sense. Because there was this kind of plan where I had thought about teaching English in China, and that was a program that I was looking into. COVID hit, and so I couldn't do that, or I wasn't going to do that anymore.
I saw the security guard as COVID also because he stopped your plans, killed your plans. Oh yeah, of going down there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. In that why was he a big white guy? Because that's all the people that are, well, not all, but most of the people that are making these decisions in government are. So it would be represented this authority figure beyond your control, yanking you out from a victory in this game. That kind of blows my mind too. That's a strong connection, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
And it leads to a kind of death. There's the end of the game, but it's specifically, it killed a possibility you had. And then you get this next section. So a lot of times is the transitions in dreams are important. It's like, why wasn't it smooth? Why did it jump cut? And a lot of it is, here's this idea, here's the whole idea, and now we're on to a different idea. And a lot of times they trigger each other. The reason you jump into the next phase is because of the last thing that happened in the first one. So to suddenly wake back up in the dream, and you're in now a pleasant setting, the game's over, you've got a friend, someone who's looking out for your best interest, and they're just explaining to you what happened. Thinking of what we've already talked about, does that bring a new understanding to kind of how this friend was telling you what they were telling you?
I feel like it kind of shows that the friend was telling me that, it was bad for a little bit what happened, but now you're fine and you're going to continue to be fine. Yeah.
It had that very kind of hopeful, looking towards a better future type of vibe to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And once that circumstance was done, that's the next jump cut is to this. Now I'm with my family and we are all gathering our things together. What is seeing that chain of events, where does that bring you to an understanding of that idea?
I still don't really know. I don't know. Maybe that just I'm always going to end up with my family. They'll always be there. Something like that.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. You should not stroke your face during that time. Okay.
Well, there is very much a safe haven aspect of, so I'm in this game. I lose through. It's not my own fault. I got cheated. I got yanked off the slide, and I've got a friend, someone close to me, giving me encouragement, and I land safe, happy landing, safe harbor back at home with family where all my stuff is. But then why this gathering your stuff from a witch's house and this sense of fear? Or how did you describe it?
Yeah, I was afraid.
Yeah, I think you used a impending doom, like something bad was about to happen and that the witch would catch you. So what's the idea of, specifically a witch? I guess does the idea of a witch hold any meaning for you?
I don't think so. I just I guess when I think of just like the witch, I just picture the typical kind of scary witch, like the greenish kind of like monsters, long noses, pointy noses, and those big hats, pointy hats.
Yeah, and it's also
I don't know, like
a magical creature in a way. It's something that isn't, maybe human, but not fully, because they can do things other people can't, and in this sense, malicious things. So this is another force beyond your control, maybe something that might have power to affect you in some way. And that they're not looking out for your good. They're not there it's not a fairy godmother. It's definitely a witch.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that all your things, not just your things, but your family's things ended up in this place and you were there to get them. So there's an aspect of bravery to it, of like, I'm going to challenge this dangerous situation to gather my things. These are my things. They don't belong here. We're taking them home. So there's something in that as well. What, does anything come to mind?
I don't know. I feel like we haven't I don't feel like anything is kind of like separated from me or my family. I don't know what I would have to gather.
Other than your belongings when, that abrupt move out of California, they're closing down the state, COVID. Once again, we got to get you out of there, which we had to fly down in a short amount of time because they were closing the university and, flights were going to be canceled forever. So we had to get you home. So again, I just bring it back to that COVID as being the witch, the whole thing that was going on, closing the state of California, get her out of there. And, your sister and I
that's true. All my
came
stuff,
down to get all your stuff.
Yeah, all my stuff was still back in California at this point.
And your family went with you to go get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty direct.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, you have a great mom, because where was that? No, he wasn't flying. COVID was going on.
Wait, so he didn't go with you physically in real life to go get this, and there you have this representation in the dream. It's your mom and your sisters, and they're helping you move. That's almost like direct correlation. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, he was like, "Oh no, I'm not getting anything. You guys take one for the team."
Very nice. Well, and so there's interesting that you jumping back a little bit, you had this sense that losing the game meant death, and also you actually did die in losing the game. So that could also relate to the COVID situation of like, it's kind of a deadly game. We're trying to live our life under this threatening circumstance. And if you lose the game of life, that's a death sentence. That's how you lose,
It was right in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It also could be Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, when we were all as a nation where everyone was fighting it, unsure, we didn't know. You hear different stories, just everyone was trying to fight it and figure out how to get through COVID.
Yeah. So that is, and often these things are multi-layered too. So it can be the very serious life-threatening situation of in a medical sense. It can also be the death of ending your college experience, but it can also be a death of, say, your future dreams because it didn't pan out as well or as fully as you want to. But then also there's a lot of little deaths in there of struggles to succeed at, say, homework assignments. You don't get an A, you got a B, and you wanted an A. And so there was the death of that dream of getting an A on a specific assignment. So it could be lots of,
right.
Death is just kind of everywhere as much as life is. So
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, certain internships, certain jobs, not being able to take them or do them again because of what was going on. So yeah, you're right. A lot of little deaths.
And in some sense, the the people that you defeat in this game, if we think of it as the game of getting through college, the people you outperform, their potential decreases by a little bit because you surpass them. So there's also kind of killing their future aspirations by just being better. There's a little aspect tagging them out. That could be something.
Yeah.
lots of ways to look at it.
Yeah, I think that was great. Yeah.
And I think we already mentioned it too, the idea of going upstairs to get a better vantage point. Again, with that strategic thinking of trying to puzzle your way through, how do I win this? What's my strategy here? How do I get a better view of the situation? You go up to look down. I don't know if anything else comes to mind in that thinking of the balcony in that way.
Yeah, no, it just on top of it, I think it also just felt a bit safer up there because mainly I was I was downstairs and we were all like running around and when most of the action was happening. So I think upstairs felt a bit safer too, along with the vantage point.
Right.
Do you have, if it's okay to say, in your real life, you live on the second floor in a 2-story house? Is
yeah, my bedroom.
That's where your bedroom is. So maybe there's a sense of residual feeling of security coming from being on the second floor where your bedroom is, a little more familiarity. That was something that came to mind too.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were always on the top. Your apartment in California was a top floor apartment also with a balcony, and that's your safety zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. No, that makes a lot of sense too. You've got multiple, especially if you lived in another place that was also at least a second floor up and it had a balcony and you could look down. And did you ever see anything remarkable from that vantage point? Anything that bad things happening to other people or crimes you reported? I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah. No. You
guys were in a safe area. Yeah. There was really nothing.
Just
maybe someone walking their dog.
Did they poop or scoop?
They walked it.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So just a general sense of safety, comfort in that type of location. Yeah. And then also if you're on the second floor in the dream on this balcony, no one's sneaking up behind you. You got the drop on them. And actually that's where you discovered how to win the game from that point. Like if I go down here in just this way, I'll be in a position to pull off a victory. And then it got cut off. I don't know if that imagery relates to anything with school, with COVID, with the vantage point from which you can see the end of the game and a way to win.
Maybe like I could just see just like the literal graduation ceremony so well, and like just the end of the year, just like hang out with my friends more, and then just all that coming to an abrupt end.
Oh yeah. That would be a very powerful image as well with this authority figure acting to put their thumb on the scale and cheat the game away from you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it was so close. I mean, preparations were already starting, definitely behind the scene preparations were already starting for this huge graduation. And again, just to lose it like that.
Yeah, to have it all yanked away. That's terrible.
Yep. Yeah.
Possibly one of the only things that's still, well, there's a lot of little stuff, but why specifically a brother-sister combination? And why were they working? I mean, working together? Why were they the last opponents standing? I don't know if anything comes to mind when you think about that. Why specifically? It wasn't two girls. They weren't twins necessarily. It wasn't two boys. It was one boy and one girl. And they were your opponent. I think they represent something you were trying to tell yourself.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what them being siblings like represents in my mind. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I don't have anything for that one either. That one I kind of just left as a brother and sister hiding.
Yeah, and it may not mean anything, but if we assume it did, if it's like if we say maybe go with archetypes and say there was one masculine, one feminine, and they were working together, and that you had to be you had to outperform them to win. It might be something there that it's in the balance of masculine and feminine energy in some way, or not stereotypes, but personality traits that we would consider stereotypically, that there was something about that balanced combination that allowed that, but they were hiding the whole time too. That's how they made it to the end. And it was annoying.
That's true. They were hiding.
Yeah. I think
And
there's something in there.
Camping, right?
Camping. They were camping. Just snipers. Damn campers.
Hiding underneath.
Yeah.
And it was on the chute. Yeah. Second floor or first floor would that part of the chute be that they were hiding under? Were they?
They were on the first floor.
So they were at the disadvantage, almost at the losing spot anyway.
Yeah.
So it was never going to come, to be successful.
Like they never should have won because they were like hiding the whole time.
And it was on the
I should have
bottom.
gotten them. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So anytime you went up to the top, you would have been anyone would have had that advantage point to get them. It was just a matter of getting to them.
Yeah.
They would have been discovered. So it may be an obstacle to come your way, but I feel like you'll always discover it and be able to conquer it.
There is a sense to that as well, that you in your dream, you took an action necessary to see the path to victory. You didn't just give up and quit. You did something proactive to put yourself in a position of being able to win the game. So I think it's very, very good. Speaks to your self-concept, your character in that regard. You're not going to go down easy.
Right. Yeah. Right. Oh, you're telling me. Oh, gosh.
Speaking
of the battles in the house.
Speaking from experience, it's us difficult ones that tend to struggle through somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, maybe you just shouldn't fight things. I don't know.
Is it me?
I don't know. What do they say? Steel sharpens steel. If you're.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
You're welcome.
It is a two-way street there. Well, we might not get to the bottom of what the siblings mean exactly, but it's an interesting imagery. You might think about it later, like you record your next episode. You know, I slept on it. I had a new epiphany about it. Maybe you'll come up with something. I'd be happy to hear about it.
Yeah.
Do any other elements stand out that you want to highlight or revisit, or did we miss something that seemed important? And then we'll get into.
We got it all.
You tell us about your conversation and what you already
yeah, for sure,
talked about.
Yes, well, I think that we basically got everything. So,
okay. Do
you want to say any insights you had?
No, I think I touched on. I think I touched on everything that I wanted to hear. I thought it was very insightful, what Ben shared, and I'm glad to say that I agree with a lot of it, and we came to the same conclusion, it sounds like, with a lot of it. So
yeah, before talking to me, you had a conversation about it, and what were your kind of highlights of conclusions you guys came to before talking to me?
What did Leah?
Well, we definitely came to that the end, that my death in the dream was like the end of college and like school in general, I guess, and just graduation and everything.
And COVID, I think, we mentioned the COVID ending also.
I don't know.
In the dream, did we? Okay,
maybe not.
Okay, sorry. Other notes, go on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's basically what you had said.
Yeah, I think that is. I think that is what we summed up. We talked about your family, the importance of it again.
Yeah. And the pasta shell was very weird.
Right, but I also thought it was silly. Mm-hmm. It was just a silly, fun, like we mentioned, game. So I didn't take it too serious because of that. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all I had for my notes when we talked about it, and we just elaborated on those few things.
Okay.
Bodyguard on their side comes close to you.
Yeah. And then I feel like I kind of cheated a little bit because you helped me with some of your own insights as we were going along. So it wasn't quite a cold read on my part.
And we don't like to call it cheating. Just, what do we call it?
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork. There we go. That's it. Not like a brother-sister type that's camping, but teamwork.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I have such a hard, as I was saying earlier, doing this. in a text form. I need that actual collaboration with someone responding as we go, because they're gonna think I'm gonna mention something. They're gonna think something. I go, oh wait, let me tell you about this. Bam, and that it's those thoughts that people get triggered when they hear something for the first time, and a piece falls into place, and then they give that back to me. I'm like, okay, let's put that here. Now what do we see? Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, teamwork, Leah.
Teamwork.
Yeah,
maybe that's coming back to the brother and sister. Maybe that was it. Is that they were strong and smart in a way because of their teamwork, working together. Something about that you had to surpass in order to win, and you were going to win, even with them working together. You had them. So
I had them. That's right. I mean, we could say you could keep that in mind when you three girls are working together. We don't have any boys, but when two gang up on the one, keep that in mind.
So you're saying I'm always going to win?
I'll tell them. I'll let them know that you have that winning mentality. So,
Well, if you feel good about it, I think we got to a pretty good place in terms of exploring the imagery and trying to get a grip on what was happening. I don't know if you guys wanted to keep going on anything else for any reason, or wrap it up.
I think that's it. Do you have anything else?
No, I thought that was great. I loved it.
Me too.
I think it had everything in there that will make it successful.
Very cool. No, I really appreciate having you here. I guess I'll do that one more time. We've got coffee. It's so blurry, but I remember it's Leah and Sandy, and they are the non-expert dream experts. You can find their podcast on iTunes and Spotify. They do dream interpretations. Usually Leah has the dream, tells about it, and Sandy helps her try and figure out what it is. I've listened to several of them myself. It's a lot of fun. As much fun as they had here. It's you don't know. So
we had the fun.
Yeah, this was fun.
And I really appreciate you being here. It's great to talk to you. And I never know how to end these things, so I'll just say, hey, this has been another episode of Dreamscapes, and thank you for joining us. You can look in the description below, definitely, for links to their podcast. I'll find those and put them up. And I wrote a book, and I've got some podcast links of my own. Anyway, you can see the description for all that. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for having us, Ben.
Yeah.